So welcome to Stress Month. I'm chatting with Andrea Marsh. Andrea, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi, I'm Andrea from Cotswold Menopause. I'm a shiatsu and Chinese medicine practitioner, and I help you have a natural approach to a healthy menopause.
Awesome. Right, stress. Where do we start?
It's so big. It is so big. And I think it's important to understand that of the major health imbalances that make your menopause really bad, stress is the biggest factor. So you may not realize it, but actually a whole host of your symptoms actually stem from your body being stressed. So, we've got stressful lives with our families and our jobs. Change creates a hormonal stress, which is another layer of stress on top of all the stresses that you've got. And this is why you suddenly feel awful, because stress can create very, very physical symptoms in the body, and stress can create very emotional symptoms in the body. So, for example, some of the physical symptoms would be fatigue, real debilitating fatigue, which I know Emily will nod about. And this fatigue then opens up a whole host of other symptoms. Feeling cold, anxiety, overwhelm, brain fog, more phobic, more fearful, becoming reclusive, wanting to stay in the house. All of that's a whole kind of symptom set of how it's affecting you emotionally and physically. So it's a big, big subject. And to be perfectly honest, it's the slowest thing to turn around in your health. Whereas lots of other things, like I talk a lot about the liver, and when we're dealing with the liver, we can turn things around quite quickly. But when we're dealing with you getting your body and your mind and body into such a stress state, that's a long-term health issue, exacerbated by the menopause. And so it does take time to turn it around.
So what things can people do to start turning it around?
Well, I always have a chuckle when I see those kind of memes that are well-meaning, that say, oh, reduce stress in your life. And it's just like, as part of, and make your menopause better, reduce stress in your life. How do we reduce stress? Reducing stress is actually looking at your whole life holistically. Now, something brilliant I think you're doing this month is your stress relief advent calendar. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And if you're watching that via Instagram or Facebook, then take all, I guess it's 24 days, take all of those things and they all work. So if you think of stress, it's like it's built up like a pyramid. You've got to start chipping away at it like a pyramid, but positively chipping away, adding things back in. One of the first things you can do that actually for some women does show relatively quick results, let's say within a month, is pushing in nutrients. Because what stress is at its core, and this is me seeing it through my eyes of Chinese medicine, which is fantastic for explaining what's going on in the body. At your core, you are depleted, you are missing something. That's why you're fatigued. You haven't got your energy anymore. Your energy is missing, and your energy has been taken away by stress. But one of the main hormones that's affecting your nervous system, I forgot to say about insomnia as well. Actually, when you're stressed, sleep becomes more difficult, which is a horrible, horrible catch-22 irony. Because the one thing you wish you could have was sleep. But your body is scared that if you fall into a deep sleep, you won't wake up. So it decides to not let you sleep instead. So one of the first things you can do is put something into the body. And it's as simple as a good multivitamin. And if you want the definition of good, then go to my website, Cotswold Menopause, and go to the menopause supplements. I've created a starter guide there with all the links. And the reason why I say good, because if you get a big white chalky supplement, you're getting more chalk than you are nutrients. And what we want you to get is the pure plant nutrients that your body will absorb and utilize. And the reason why you want to be putting in all these nutrients, because with the best will in the world, you're not going to get it all from food, is because this excess cortisol, which is sourcing around your body, needs those nutrients to heal your body. So the cortisol is stealing your nutrition, which is why it's leaving you extra fatigued, extra achy, brain fog, insomnia. All those things stem from a lack of nutrition in your body, and that cortisol just grabbing any nutrition it can. I speak to so many women that don't really eat vegetables. So cortisol wants vegetables as well as other nutrients. You know, it would love some good meat and eggs and things like that, but it really, really wants the vegetables, as does your gut bacteria. So the very first thing, like I said, good woman's multivitamin, specifically for the menopause, which I can help you with. Second one, our old magic favorite, magnesium. It comes up time and again, but it's like, if you could stay on two things for the rest of your life, it would be multivitamins and magnesium. And then there's a host of other supplements which you can read from my starter guide rather than me go into them. But what it's important to get across, because I think a lot of it for women is mindset as well. They're more questioning, why has this happened to me? Why am I not who I was 5 or 10 years ago, and things, and getting a bit angry at themselves. And all I'd say is park anger. You're not your 30-something self, because you're not 30-something, you're 45, and your body is evolving. And the menopause is a massive stress. The transition, the hormonal transition is a massive stress without anything else going on in your life. And of course, there's going to be so much more going on in your life that you're probably just coping with pretty well until this happened, until brain fog set in and memory issues. And also, I think we have to mention exercise, don't we, Emily? Because exercise can make stress worse. So I'm going to hand back to you for that bit.
It can do, and I learned this one the hard way. So exercise is a great thing. I will always advocate movement, because our bodies need to move, and I'm never going to say that they don't. However, if you overdo it on the exercise, and I am a case in point, I massively did, it actually adds to your stress. So whilst a lot of us have the perception that getting out for a run or going out on the bike or whatever might be how we relieve our stress, there comes a point when our hormones are out of balance that actually that long cardio exercise might be adding to our stress rather than relieving it. And actually switching to something like yoga or a brisk walk, or there's lots and lots of different things that you can do. And as an aside, adding in strength training, because we want to keep our bones strong, but that's irrelevant to the stress thing. But actually looking at how you're exercising and looking at whether you're using exercise to manage stress, and is there something else that you can do to be managing that stress, so that you can change the type of exercise, so that you're using exercise that nourishes your body rather than depleting it.
Absolutely. And a perfect one that I'll throw in there that nourishes the body, it nourishes the adrenal energy, the deep fatigue, is one that's linked to shiatsu called Qigong. That's Qigong. And believe me, sometimes you can feel like you've had quite a workout at the end of it, but it's also fantastic for changing your mindset, because a lot of people hit the streets running to deal with, that's their mental detox of the day or whatever's been going on. So Qigong can actually do that for you as well. So I do recommend switching. I was speaking to a lady who was a PT that's also had 3 such strong bouts of chronic fatigue that she's ended up in a hospital each time. And so now she's very much about balance, which you are. And she said so simply yesterday, it's about activity and rest.
Yeah.
And I thought, how beautifully simple. Yes, we want the activity and movement, but you've also got to respect your body, listen to it, and rest. And my simple rule for exercise is that if you do exercise, you feel happy for 24 hours afterwards, or 24 hours plus, and you sleep well, you're more than likely doing the right exercise. But if one of the 2 of those things are off, and you're itching to go exercising again because you're wound up about stuff, or you're not getting good enough sleep, then something needs to change.
Yeah.
So
and exercise should bring happiness to your life. It shouldn't be another chore. It shouldn't be another stressor.
Yeah. And so we are the generation, because I often get asked, is the menopause or perimenopause worse for women right now? And I believe it is. I truly do, because we are the generation that's had it all. And again, as a nutritionist friend said the other day, we're the past a generation. So these two things are that the career, the home life, the exercising to be slim, but also we've eaten a lot of convenience foods, which is quite toxic and nutritionally poor. And these are two major factors: stress and gut health. They go together actually, because when you're stressed, your gut is thrown out of sync anyway. Your brain can't tell you what you want to eat anymore, and you might just reach for the sweet things then. I'm telling Emily everything she knows here. But it's simple to say, but it's not so easy to do for a lot of women, because it comes back to mindset. And another great message I've been given in the last week is about helping women give them permission. Permission to rest, permission to say no, permission for self-care. Because actually women pretty much beat themselves up without realizing it, whether they do that physically or with their lifestyle, or mentally, emotionally, with negative thinking. So, and
also I'm just going to quickly jump on one thing you said there, which is the phrase self-care. I think that can be interpreted as being the sort of Instagram version of it, where it's all flowers and whatever. Do you know what I mean? Self-care is anything that makes you feel better and that you do for you. And I think, Andrea, you are with me here, that we are giving permission 100% to anybody watching this to, if saying no to somebody is the bit that makes you feel better, that is your self-care. If singing along to ABBA loudly in the car makes you feel better, that is your self-care. It doesn't need to be hot baths and spa days and things. It can be anything that just makes you feel that little bit better.
You can ask yourself one question. Again, my friend said it's been a very good week of speaking to people and getting.
So it seems.
Messages. Yeah, it has. Probably because I've just spoken to so many amazing women this week. But it was actually my best friend. She'd just come off a feminine retreat thing where they stood under waterfalls and all sorts. But she said the question she now asks herself, because she's learning to do self-care: does it nourish me or does it leech me? And for example, because of her business, she goes to a lot of gigs, and she decided not to go to a gig one night because she wanted to stay home and catch up on all her admin. And she said that's okay, because that nourished me, it didn't leech me. And so, you know, self-care just means catching up and clearing your desk, just to give your mind calmness. That is self-care. It's all very well saving up and going to that 1.5 spa day a year, but actually it's about doing little things every day. And say no to things. And it's, you know, with Christmas coming up, it's the toughest time. And I've had so many conversations with women go, do you have to see that person then? Can't you say, we'll have a fantastic time and meet on another date? Does everything have to condense into those precious few days and exhaust you? You know, do something where you're day on, day off, not day on, day on, day on.
Absolutely. And
that will create stress.
And yes, I'm going to say it again, loud and clear: permission to say no.
And I'll add to that guilt is self-induced. Because somebody says something to you, you can say no to it. But if you feel guilty and you say yes to it, that's within you. That's not what that other person's done. That's how you've interpreted the situation. You could have diverted it. You could have had the conversation of another day, you know, January, whatever the answer could be. So yeah, it is about, I don't know, would you say toughening up? But
I think just, so, you know, being clear on your boundaries. I mean, I know I've said,
way of putting it. I've
said this a lot in various different videos, and I know a lot of people really struggle with the idea of saying no when they first start. My go-to, I feel like I'm always giving away a trade secret of mine when I say this, but my go-to is that I say, I'll see what's in the diary. Yeah. And that gives me just that breathing space to think, do I actually want to do this thing? Does this feel like it will nourish me or leach from me? And then I've given myself that framework to go, let's have a look at the diary. Diary says no, sorry, I'm busy. Now, the person I'm saying this to, I don't feel like I'm brushing them off. I feel like I'm giving a valid reason. Now, I know I don't need to justify it, but actually I still feel like I do, because I'm still a bit of a people pleaser. But the beauty of it is that the person I'm saying no to doesn't know that I'm busy putting my pajamas on and watching telly if I need that evening. Or they don't know that I'm busy baking some cakes because frankly I need to just do the thing that chills me out. They don't need to know that I've just said that my diary is busy.
Yes, that's all they need to know. And the thing is, and I employed this a lot in my previous career. I was in a very, very stressful computer systems go live 24/7 industry. Everybody wanted everything now. So I had colleagues that go, give me 15 minutes. That was their answer to everything. And of course they didn't achieve anything. And that ended up stressing out people with deadlines on the end of the phone. And I would be honest and just say, I can give you space to do this here. And if you accept that, I will do that there. But like you, I always built in the option to go away, look at my diary. And I think that's really important for one major reason is, and if you can take this away and learn this, is literally when somebody says, will you, because a lot of it is, will you do this, isn't it? A lot of it. Bite your tongue, literally bite your tongue till you hurt yourself, but don't answer. Then employ Emily's, I need to check my diary and I'll get back to you. And do that. Don't say I'll check my diary and don't get back to them. That's really shoddy. And that just pisses off people. Go look at your diary. You may not have anything in there. It might be pajama changing or pajama washing day. But give them a polite response of, if they had a deadline on what they've asked you to do, I'm sorry, I can't do it that day. I'm busy. Or actually, yeah, I'd like to meet up with you. I can do January the 15th onwards. That's what I do, is I tend to put in the start of the week onwards. So they've still got the flexibility to choose, but I've pushed the deadline out past what's suitable for me.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And I think that, to me, that underpins all of self-care, is that setting boundaries and saying, I am worthy of putting me first. And I am worthy of not putting myself in situations that I know will make me stressed. And I am worthy of valuing my time.
And sleep.
Yes.
I don't book anything too early in the morning now. Since
No, me neither.
Nothing starts before 11 now. I used to start at 10, but nothing starts before 11 now. And I still get the same amount of things done in my life.
Yeah. The only things I book in before 11 are when I'm speaking to people in Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to make an exception for that, because otherwise I'd be asking them to speak to me in the middle of the night. And I accept that they have boundaries too.
Yeah. Oh, I guess, gosh, yeah, they're 12 hours ahead, aren't they? So they're talking to you at 9, 10 p.m.
So, you know,
yeah,
that's an okay, that's a sort of a change of my boundaries that I'm happy to go with. But, you know, again, it comes back to the boundaries and self-care.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. And if somebody is pushing on you, question their friendship, their support.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
If they got their own, then we can go off into a whole other thing. So just to summarize, let's just summarize stress, shall we? So breaks into two parts, the way I see it. One part, it is caused by physical changes in your body, and therefore you start resolving it by adding in supplements, and go to my website and look at my supplement starter guide. The other side is pretty much in your control. I do appreciate the work deadlines aren't, but anything outside of work deadlines is actually within your control, and therefore you create your own stress if you don't set your boundaries and value your own self-worth.
Yeah.
Stress.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrea.
You're welcome. See you again.